I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I was a little lost, and lost in my faith. And when I was in my 20s, and one of the it's proven time and time again in the Bible too that God allows certain things to happen in order to create good. And it definitely reflecting now in my current age, I realize all these different things that happened in my past created good and created the path that I'm on now.
Hi, welcome to Allow Yourself podcast. Today we have a very special guest that his name is Richard Quiñones. He's in Brooklyn, I'm in Costa Rica, so it's will be a very interesting conversation because we're going to talk about touches faith, purpose, service, identity, leadership, and relationship in achievement and meaning. So we'll see how the conversation take us. Because Richard Quiñones he has embodied the values of trust, respect, and hard work instilled in his upbringing. As a devoted Catholic, he believes his faith shapes his character and guides him to his actions. His journey into the realm of technology began in 1999 when he ventured into the field of low voltage. Since then, he's been on an unwavering quest to merge his passion for technology with his innate desire to serve others. So, with a background of science and technical management, he's honed his skills and expertise to become a extraordinary problem solver. Each day, he wakes driven by a sense of purpose to leverage technology to enhance the lives of those around him. So let's welcome Richard Quiñones. Hi, Richard.
Hey there. Thank you for the intro.
Oh, it's a whole honor to have you here. Really, is I'm very curious to know when you hear "allow yourself" what comes to mind.
Yeah, when I hear the introduction, it takes me back, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey to learn how to steward by using my business. And that's been the driving factor for sure. That and me being a nerd. I love technology, and I know we can maximize everybody's lifestyle and remove those burdens by utilizing technology. So that's how I like to serve the market.
It's very interesting because people usually hear technology and things about technology, something very dry, cold, separated from feelings, humanity, and all that. And how did it come to you that it has to be both together?
It's a great question. So it started, um, that realization started, like I said, back in 1999 when I started in low voltage career. That's when cable modem, fast speed internet first came out. No more dial up. But even with dial up, I noticed that we created this ease of use for communication now, right? With AOL Instant Messenger or even email. Um, so that started my brain to start thinking, okay, well, we can be more efficient. We can communicate better. We can be more efficient in everything. So that led me down the path of noticing that this actual technology can be integrated into an everyday environment, whether it's commercial or residential. And so I started diving down that path and seeing what is possible. And in all honesty, even to this day, I say it to all my clients that I meet, your limitation is your imagination of what can be done. And technology could supplement that. Even now, in this current day and age, now that AI is out, it is multiplied, 1,000 times over of what small tasks that you do in your everyday life once you get rid of that task or it's delegated, right, to technology, um, how much that saves you on a weekly basis that you can put towards, you know, in my perspective, you put towards God first and then family second, right? So and that's what my brain always led to. So, the second email was available on the very first BlackBerry phone. Oh, I was in line. I was getting that phone because I can now check my email on my phone and be able to respond faster and not have to worry about blocking 2 hours a day when I get to my office desktop computer to, respond. I could take that 2 hours back because I was able to respond quicker. So those are the things that led me down this path, and I continued doing that with the smart home technology, and you know, always trying to figure out bigger and better ways to streamline that and make it a seamless experience for families and organizations.
Hey, that's beautiful. That really, really aligns with allow yourself because you said the limitation is your imagination. It means you take it to the technology field, and I usually take it into our emotional field. So
Hmm.
because we are the ones who limited ourselves of what we think we deserve and we think we can do and we cannot do, and usually we know much better what we cannot do than what we can do. So in what you're telling us is that you help your clients to see, okay, what you don't like to do or what is taking too much time from you, and what would your imagination will be in order to take that limitation. What do you expect from yourself? Is that correct?
Yeah, and in our process of, having a new person who's just even interested, right? But they don't know what this world will look like. That's step one for us. We call it identify the vision. So, we dive into not, hey, what products do you want? No, that has nothing to do with this. When you're integrating technology, I just had a consultation yesterday, and we'll use this as the example. And we're talking about security and surveillance in the home and the features. That was the initial, you know, description we received, right? But the first question that came out was, okay, why security? Did, why are you saying you need these cameras? You need motion sensors at the vehicle gate. You need the lights to turn on. There's a why behind it. There's a root cause somewhere. And, that will help us get to the vision. If we can get to the root cause of the request, now we are understanding that vision to help create success. Because without that vision, you could put 20 different layers of technology in your home, and then they don't communicate exactly how you want it, or, which will end up leaving a sour taste in your mouth, which a majority of the world now, that's what they deal with. They go to the, store and they buy these devices and they try to make a smart home, but then it doesn't work exactly the same way, or it breaks, or, something had an update and it doesn't communicate right. Um, where you really got to dive to the root cause, right? You're not fully solving the root cause. You're just layering some symptoms, and then you're treating that symptom. If you treat that symptom, there's still something else that's wrong, which can break. So that's essentially what we do is in that first step is identify that vision, truly understand that why. So that way we can help support you, be that nerd, and help support you with the millions of products that are out there. This is what you need because this was your why.
Wow, that's very, very interesting, the parallel things, because you take really the humanity and the person into the technology, because the technology itself cannot tell you the why. If it has why surveillance, why security, uh, my question would be in my emotional field would be, instead of why security, it says, why don't you feel safe? Right? Is why don't
Yeah.
you feel safe? Is going to the emotional part that sometimes if we just go and buy some cameras and install it and it doesn't give us, as you say, the communication that we want, we don't feel safe anyway. So it's not solving the cause. So it's very, very empowering to see that there are companies that do that. What's the name of your company?
The name of our company is SB Com Inc. We're based out of Snellville, Georgia, and we service the greater metro Atlanta area of Georgia, as well as the eastern side, Athens, Lake Oconee, Lake Hartwell, going northeast towards South Carolina, that whole northeastern side. So that's the area we serve right now. But we do have, as SBCom Inc., a 2034 goal to have an operational office in every state of the Southeast to service the whole Southeast of the United States.
Wow, so listen, if you're interested, you can contact Richard Quiñones in LinkedIn. So you can contact him anytime you want and he will can address you. Um, how how there is a misconception usually, oh, sorry, there is a misconception usually between technology and God, right? That is like cold and is a very disconnected world, but you bring those really together. How does it comes to you? I know that you say that God, through God, you serve others. So, but how did that philosophy and values came to you?
I mean, I was raised a Catholic, right? So I think the terminology, what they call it is, when you're born a Catholic, is a cradle Catholic. But when I feel like he gave me this unique gift. We're all made unique. And he gave me this unique gift to be that nerd, to really just have a passion for technology. And I also have a passion to serve. So, my wife and I will joke. There's been plenty of times in my life where I see a homeless person and then I bring them to my apartment and feed them, right? And things like that. So she's like, you always want to serve. Um, and so I had to just figure that out. And, when I first started this business, I started like every other entrepreneur. It's like, okay, I gotta grind it and, start getting KPIs in place and, doing all these different things. But when I reflected on that, I was like, well, yeah, okay, the KPIs are there. Obviously, any business needs a KPI. Right? You need something measurable. You need something attainable. But how is that serving? And the way I do it is you build that into the culture. So the team culture is family first. Something happens, we understand family comes first. Same with our clients. Life safety is a concern with security monitoring. So, one of the things we offer is the extended service plan, right? It's wrapped into your monthly service, and through the life of the system for life safety, we cover the product and we cover the service to repair that product. That just creates the ease of mind to know you're protected. If something comes up, we're there, right? Another layer that we implemented in order to serve better was 24/7, 365 remote support. That's available. Same day, next day on-site visits, right? All these options are available because we just want to serve. We don't want the customer to ever feel abandoned. And me personally, that's why I created the business. That's my why is throughout 1999 through 2011 when I opened the business, I contracted for multiple business up and down the East Coast. I even went out to California and did work out there too in the West Coast. I would get those calls to my cell phone. And they're not my client, but they're in dire need of help. And that would be considered moonlighting as a contractor. So, I honored my contracts and I couldn't do that. And I had to unfortunately tell them, like, I'm sorry, you have to call them. Well, they haven't called me in the past 2 weeks and the system is down, blah, blah, blah. And I heard it time and time again. And, so I think that was God pulling me to say, this is how you could serve. And so we use that. And then, I during our meetings, I tell the team every time, right? This is not my company. This is God's company. And it's just up to us to figure out how to steward this company to serve others. So that's how we, approach that. And that's how we approach the market is to serve first and, make sure customers never feel abandoned.
It's very interesting what you're saying. It's like you feel like God puts you first in a way to see what the real problems are, how people are really feeling. Because one of the main characteristics or traits I hear from you, I don't know if it's correct, it's just my feeling, my opinion, is you are very rich in empathy. You can put yourself in the shoes of others, that it's not very easy for today's world, that everything is run, 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 run. When you don't stop and you don't think about the other, you cannot feel what the other is experiencing. It's very hard to solve problems in the other people's mind. But I feel it in you, like this is goes first, the empathy, how the other needs to solve, to feel safe and secure. No, it's like
Mhm.
put you in the way to see, oh no, I don't like that part. And one of the main things that people refer to, they especially, it's in broader business, but especially in tech business, as I perceive of the opinions, is that technology is only money oriented. They don't care about if you like it, if you don't like it. It serves you, you pay monthly, it's enough. We don't need the service that you say. And you started backwards because you say it's not my business, it's God's business, so I'm just serving. And it's not money oriented. Yes, you need to earn money in order to live and survive. And we all like money, is energy that makes us grow. But the money comes after I serve. It's not that money comes first and then I serve.
That's
Is
right.
that
Yeah.
correct?
It's serve first. God will take care of the rest, right? As long as we stay true to our core values and, stay true to stewarding. I mean, we're all human. We make mistakes. I'm not saying that we're perfect. We're all broken. Right? I mean, it's proven in the Bible that we're all broken time and time again. Um, but as long as we stay diligent, I think that's all that God wants, right? If we stay on that path, even if we sway off a little bit, just get back on that path and keep stewarding, and God will take care of the rest. And that's how I've run the business to is in that matter, right? We take care of everything first, and then I know God will take care of that latter half. And to circle back to what you said earlier about go, 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 right? Like that's the culture we're in, right? It's go, go, go. Um, you know, I just recently taught a class about AI at the Greater Atlanta Home Builder Association, and that was one of the things I told to the attendees. I said, "Hey, this will save you a good 10 to 15 hours a week if implemented." Showed them some product out there that are AI driven that can help save. Gave it a tier level, right? Depending on your comfort of technology, even something that's self set it and forget it, self-implemented AI things to just, hey, dump data, anything that's in my brain, I'm going to dump it here and then I can ask it later. I don't have to worry about remembering it. And it was really fruitful class, but the one thing I made sure to tell them was like, don't forget, you save these 10 hours a week, I'm sure everybody will be happy. And they all like, yes, I could save 10 plus hours a week. I could see it. Don't fill it up with other stuff though. Right? Take those 10 hours that you saved. That should go to God first or family second. And hey, if you don't believe in God, I totally get it, then it should go to family, right? But that's the hierarchy. So don't fill it up with more work because then you're still going to be the same overwhelmed person, but with triple the amount of work. So there is a fine line when it comes to technology, and that's what I tell the clients as well. Don't pick an integrator like us based on product, based on the fanciest showroom that's out there. Not to say the showroom is not valuable, it is. It's like test driving a car, right? You get to see the technology in action, but you definitely need to, it's a relationship business. And, I call it being technology married. When I have a client, we're engaging on a project, we're about to be technology married because we want to make sure we support you. And that should come first is support. proper communication and that true care to serve even after the project is done. So, um, but yeah, just be careful that when you're doing the technology, don't fill your schedule up, right? You could now you save more time to either worship or be with family.
You know what reminds me that uh like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. I don't remember. I went to Epcot and Epcot in Florida, and they were showing how the washing machine was created. And yes, to save it, the woman to be washing the clothes all the time. And and I said, yeah, but then okay, she's not washing, but now what is she doing now, right? Is it
Exactly.
is it filling her cup and doing things she enjoyed, and seeing the birds outside and just walking around, or is she washing the dishes now because there's some machine that washes the clothes? So it's very powerful what you say. It's like, um what are you filling that space with? Something that really enrich you and blessed, and you, as you said before, that we deserve the best, right? It's God's right for us to deserve the best. Um, is a very important point. If you have the technology to give you the space and the time to do something else, don't fill it with work, fill it with something that you need for you to really enhance yourself, and be grateful for, let's say, that you can. And you say that we are all broken, we always have failures and setbacks. And uh, can you tell us about a failure or a setback or a broken in you that became a blessing?
Whew. A few. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I was a little lost, and lost in my faith, and when I was in my 20s, and wanted to. It's proven time and time again in the Bible too that God allows certain things to happen in order to create good, and it definitely reflecting now in my current age, I realize all these different things that happened in my past um, created good and created the path that I'm on now. So, uh, one prime example was, I had a first wife, and we at that time were like, no, God, this is you and me. God's not involved in our marriage, right? And again, I was lost at that time, and that marriage failed. But God knew in my heart that I wanted children and I wanted a family, and He knew that. And He put certain people in my life, and I realize that now that led me back to Him. And that was actually a martial arts school here in Georgia called Warriors for Christ. And I've been doing martial arts since I was a kid, so I love martial arts. And so when I met this school, it was really affordable based on my income at that time, and it was very active, and it was faith driven. And I thought that was pretty unique. But I mainly went there because it was $25 a month. I was like, oh yeah, that's cheap, and they're doing some really cool stuff. So I signed up. But just being in that environment, being around community that was all faith driven led me to say, "Oh wow, I realize I'm back." And that was one major thing that I saw was good, right? Within that Warriors for Christ, I now have my current wife, and my current wife blessed me with three amazing children. One's 13 now, which she's acting like she's 21, but she's 13.
You're
Um,
starting to learn how to breathe, right?
yeah,
You,
yes.
yeah.
Definitely patience is a virtue now. My son, who's 11, and about to go to middle school, next year, and my youngest, who's 3. So three amazing children, an amazing wife who is my rock. That all came from just that one blessing of him putting me in a certain location and being around community of other fellow people that worship. Um, there's a lot of things come and go, and some of them we don't even reflect on, or even realize it until much, much, much later. So, but I leave it with this is because there's so many. My wife and I talked about it. It's like, hey, is there anything you regret? And in that conversation, just husband and wife, I literally say, no, I don't regret anything. And the reason why I say that is I wouldn't be where I'm at today, no matter, unless those things happened, right? I had times in my life where I had to make tough decisions. And that tough decision was, where am I going to move to? And if I chose the other path, then I might not have these amazing kids that I have and the amazing wife that I have today. So not just the joke is, I think I make a plan and then God laughs, right? Because it's God's plan. It's not my plan. That just made me believe it's like, oh yeah, he fulfilled everything that I wanted, right? I wanted children, I wanted a wife, and I have that now, right? Um, I wanted some freedom to be with my family as well as still doing what I love to do. He created that, right? When I was a contractor, I traveled and, he put it in my heart. And then my wife was the one who actually told me, you need to just stop doing this and open your company. She was the one who said, do that. And I'm more than sure God put her in my life because he knew somewhere deep in my heart, even though I was lost, somewhere deep in my heart, he knew I always wanted to serve. Because even not, being as faithful, um, I still served. I still helped. That's just the heart that I have that my mom and my dad, you know, instilled in me. So, you know, it's 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 great to reflect on it though. Like it's a
It's
blessing and joyful.
very, uh, sorry.
As it's a blessing and joyful for sure.
Yeah. Um, I was about to ask you, and but you answer before is like when there was a time that helping others came at the expense of helping yourself.
Oh yeah, that's happened too.
Yeah, because you
Um,
were traveling, you were saying you were traveling, you were helping, you were serving, but not
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's happened a few times as well. Um, and those are lessons learned too. So one time was this was a big sacrifice. This is the biggest sacrifice. I still don't regret it, right? Because I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But when my daughter was born, so I was still a contractor. My wife was pregnant, and we were living in LA at the time, right? So we were in Los Angeles. And when we knew she was pregnant, we met in Atlanta. So we knew that environment in Georgia and Atlanta. And like I said, I was with that Warriors for Christ martial art. And it felt like a community that we can raise children in, et cetera. But when we went to LA, because my wife had a job offer and she told me she was pregnant, like within the first 2 to 3 weeks of her knowing she's pregnant, we both admitted, like, yeah, we need to move back to Georgia. We're not going to raise our kids in LA. When it came time to give birth to my daughter, I was there and man, I could still vividly remember it like if it was yesterday. But that next week, I brought them home and spent 2 days at home with my firstborn daughter and my wife, and I had to leave because Hurricane Sandy hit New York, and it was a big contract. So I left to go serve at Hurricane Sandy and get people back with their, power and network and, you know, services. Um, and in doing that, I was gone for 2 months repairing all this low
Wow.
voltage wiring. And at that second month mark, I was supposed to come back to Atlanta and she was supposed to fly with my daughter to meet me there. So, that was hard because when she came off the airplane and she, showed up where we normally pick them up, and my daughter was like more than double in size, I missed all that. I missed all of it to go help serve. And not, I don't regret it because and it's crazy. I netted zero, right? So the amount of money I spent to go there and the amount of money I made literally was $0. There was no added benefit. It was supposed to be. That's a different story for another day, but I netted zero and just lost that time. But I don't regret it. I mean, I still served. I helped out a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of families getting their houses back in order. So that was
So
a major sacrifice right there.
yeah, it is a big sacrifice to see the difference in 2 months that you think you don't realize until you see it, until you feel it. But there is one thing that it's really I feel I don't know. Just correct me if I'm wrong. In the center of your life, even before that is everything is faith driven for you. But
Mhm.
before is faith driven, you have to allow yourself to surrender
That's
to God's voice, to what's the universe trying to tell you, where is God trying to see. It's like, it's not my credit. God is sending me this. I can see. You have to open that door to allow this high power to come into your life and trust. You say that you trust. You talk a lot about trust, right? Trust, respect, and hard work, and that is not for granted. You have to allow it and to let it in.
hmm that's very, very true. You got to let it in. You got to surrender. And it could be even something small for surrendering, right? So one of the things we do now, team company wide, every meeting, we pray before we start the meeting. That simple thing, right? That's something small where you're like, really? Like, is that really going to be a major impact? I don't know if it's going to be a major impact, but why not? Why not do that? Why not give this meeting to God and let Him work through us, right? Why not? What is it going to hurt to let it go and let it go to Him?
As is for me, let's say in the emotional way, it's opening a door for the good to come.
That's right.
In the pray, right? Is to uh, put a positive mind that everything will be fine no matter what.
That's right.
Because I work with a lot of people that not everybody is a believer, let's say.
hmm
Uh, I start with the grateful. What are you grateful for? Yeah, like we started with the music today to align our intentions. Is for me also it's a way to start in what am I grateful for to be here, who I'm have the honor to host today, right? It's opening that positive thing just for the little things that you say. And that's a surrender also. What am I
That's right.
grateful for? I don't. It's a positive way of seeing life that you see the half cup full and not the half cup empty. And
That's
the
right.
empty, you give you give it a reason to flip it. Like my book is named Flip It Over. It's the flip it. It's some. This is happening because I need to learn something. uh God is trying to tell me something, or not to follow this way. And you will, if you will surrender it, as you said, you will listen. Where should I go? You'll get the message somehow, with a TV show, with a music, with
Right.
just something that came from your from from your gut.
Yeah,
So
and it also takes patience, right? So, when you say,
patience, yeah.
all right, I'm dealing with this thing. So where do you want me to go? And then you might not get that answer right away. You just have to be patient on it. If you're patient on it and you continue to let it go, right? And you work through it, when you get that answer, boom, it's there. So I want to give you this story because this is a really, really interesting story, and my wife like went to tears when I told her the story. So this was a few years ago. I don't remember exactly how many years back, but there was a point in time in my business. We've been in business 15 years. So this was about, I think I was like year five, year six. And, running a business from scratch to get to that year mark it's hard. It's not easy. And it continues to be hard. Um, but one night I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why am I doing this? And when I went to sleep that night, I had a dream. And I don't know why, my favorite era is like the 1950s, with the diners and so that's just me. That's my favorite decade. And with that being said, I'm sitting in a diner, right? And I'm drinking coffee at the diner, and the person in front of me is me. And I'm having a conversation with myself, but I know it's not me. But it looks like me. Like the outer shell looked like me, hands, etc. The only thing is I could never see the face. But I'm having a conversation about exactly that. Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I really have to deal with all this stress and sacrifice? And I don't hang out with any friends anymore. It's literally work and home, work and home. Is this really worth all this? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And right then and there, myself grabbed my hand and is like, what do you think your legacy is going to be? And I was in shock by that question, right? And then I was like, well, I don't know what it's going to be. And he goes, well, what do you want it to be? Because if what you want it to be, when it said that, like intern, all they said is, what do you want it to be? And internally, I know I was like, well, I mean, I just want to help. And then I immediately, like some surge went through my body and I woke up. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? Never had the dream ever again, like ever. But to me, that was like that waking moment. It was like, I am on his path. And this could be creating the legacy of me serving. And that's all I ever wanted. So apparently I'm doing something right. So that was me thinking that, God just showed up in the environment that he knows I love. I don't know why. Because I was born in the 80s. So why would I love the 50s? I don't know. But but I love that era. I love the diners. I love that culture that was there. And that's where we were. And it was just a really intriguing time that happened. And that's when I went like really full throttle. It's like, okay. I'm serving, I'm stewarding. This is how we're doing it. And, he's continued to bless me and putting me in different environments. Like I said, that martial arts was one of them. I joined an entrepreneur group that was, Christian entrepreneur group called Iron Forums. And I've been with them for 2, 3 years now, something like that. But I'm now around a bunch of entrepreneurs that share the same woes, but we also share the same faith and we're all trying to steward, and it's just community. And so it's really intriguing. But that's where that was like, that's it, nail in the coffin. This is it. I got my answer, but I was patient. I mean, that was 5, 6 years.
And you got the message through a dream, and you've I don't know if it happened to you, but when you woke up, it was like you felt completely different in your body. It's like energized, like a breeze, a cold breeze went through your body, and it's hello, I'm with you. You're not by yourself. It's like
Yeah.
that feeling, right? Of
I
you're
was
not.
dialed in. I was dialed
Mhm,
in. I was focused,
mhm.
and I was like, I know the next step. Like, it wasn't like, what do I do? No, I know the next step. I know what I need to do. I know what I'm doing is right. Let's keep doing it. And then I just kept going. So
So if I ask you today, allow yourself, what would you tell your 17 years old Richard,
Mhm. You don't know everything and let it go.
you don't know everything. Oh, that's very, very powerful. You don't know everything, because at that age, we usually think we know everything.
I thought I
And
did.
yeah, and sometimes we know what we don't know,
Hmm.
but at that age, we really don't know what we don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just recently did some research, and one of my fellow mentors told me the same thing. You know, at 17 years old, your frontal cortex is not even fully developed yet. So you really don't know. Like
We really don't know.
scientifically, you still cannot know because your brain's not fully developed, and we typically don't have that part of our brain develop
Hmm.
until anywhere between 25 to 30, which makes sense because that's where the maturity comes from, right? Um,
But it also makes sense that we think that we know everything because that's when we're looking for an independence. So, oh, what the parents know, they are old, they don't know how
I
this,
don't know anything.
they
Yeah.
don't know anything that, yeah. So when we grow out, 20, yeah, my father was right. Oh, my mother told me that, right? In the age of 25, 26, then we'd start, but it's the independence, what's mine and what's not mine. So it has both sides, very, very interesting. And what would you say to yourself today? What do you need to allow yourself in order to move forward to your next step?
So for me today, if I were to have a conversation with myself again, um, hmm, that's a good one. I never thought about that way. But I would probably say, actually, no, I would say this because I'll tell you another story. But I would say just you're doing okay. You're doing fine. And I say that because as a business owner, just recently I lost my operations manager, which I wish him well and everything that he does. But you know that led an empty seat, and there's a bunch of people in the operations team, so they need to be led. So, you know, I'm sitting in there temporarily right now, which has now put me beyond capacity. And which is fine. I get it. You know, it's temporary and I'm patient. I learned that, right? To be patient, make sure to get the right person in the right seat. Um, but over the weekend, my wife actually tore her ACL in her right knee.
Mm,
And she typically is at home with the kids, right? So she manages the personal, I do the business side. And, you know, we meet in the middle for, you know, family activities. Well, now personal and business, and I'm already beyond capacity on business, has made it a whole new world within 48 hours, right? And it was overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, it was overwhelming this week. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you know, which I appreciate you moving this up, right? Because I need to go get
mhm,
my son from a
mhm,
camp convention, right? So, but I'm making it happen. And, you know, I was going to get dinner because just based on time, I'm very methodical on time. I knew I was not going to get home on time to make dinner to make sure to get the baby to sleep on time. So I was like, I'm going to pick up Chinese food. So I picked up Chinese food and, you know, getting ready for dinner. And there was a lady sitting on a bench eating her own dinner. And then she said, I don't know why I have to talk to you, but I want to tell you, you're doing good. You're doing good. Don't give up. You're doing fantastic and it will be okay. I had no idea who she was. But I'll tell you what I did do, and my wife did when I told her the story too, was I immediately said, what was your name? And she told me her name was London. And I said, I'm gonna pray for you. And we prayed, and I went and brought that. But again, that was that small little, she didn't have to do that. Not at all. Like why where would that come from? Like in this day and age, in this culture, why would somebody stop in the middle of nowhere and just walk up to me while I'm sitting there waiting for my food and I'm getting ready to walk out to tell me that? I was like, that's God talking right there. He
And
knows
you
it
see,
best.
you can see the small details. If you were in the run, 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 and I need to do and whatever, because I, I can see, I can feel you different from other entrepreneurs that you talk calm, you don't run, you don't rush, you let
Right.
things fall and happen. And that's what gives you, I think that was give you the opportunity to see the small details where, because life is in the small details, it's not in the big details. And you could call it God, or you can call it life, and you can call it energy, whatever the name you give
Whatever you want
it.
to call it. Hmm.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, but is that you can see it. So why is she telling me this? Oh, that's the message I needed to hear. Somebody sending me this message. It's God for me, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a
absolutely.
beautiful story.
Yeah. It's so, when it comes to that patience part, one of my favorite books that really brought it over too. I don't know if you've ever read this one, but it's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Um,
And
and that book, particularly, I didn't know it was going to talk about that. I thought it was going to be a business book, right? But when it dove into it, it was about the Sabbath and how entrepreneurs, if you use the Sabbath, because I mean, look at it. God built
mhm,
the world in 6 days, and on the seventh, he rested. Why are we not resting?
mhm.
So it was
Even
really
God
good.
rested. That's exactly that. Even God rested.
Even God rested after he built the world.
Mhm.
He rested. And,
And it
we
was
need to do the
chaos at
same.
the beginning, huh? And it was
Yeah,
it was chaos at the beginning.
exactly. So, the kids now, they really like that too. They know Sunday, that's our Sabbath day. They know for certain if anything's going on in the business, they know on Sunday it's family time, right? We're together, and we're worshiping together, we're being together. So yeah, whoever hears this, it's a fantastic book. Great if you listen to it on Audible or you read it. That one is really good, and you gotta take that time. You gotta be patient. You gotta let it. Sometimes you gotta let it go, and then come back to it the next day. Another analogy I use for my team is you're taking that break to sharpen the axe, right? I could chop wood all day long. Eventually, that axe is going to get dull, which means it's going to take me more effort to chop the wood. But if I take the break and I sharpen my axe, I will produce even better, or serve even better.
That's a amazing and a very very nice analogy because usually people think that rest and or to stop and to pause is a wasting of time, right? Is wasting your time. Yeah,
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 no, it's more productive to take the break. It
yeah, yeah.
it was a lesson learned for me, for sure, too.
Uh,
I learned that lesson.
So, Richard, it is just an amazing conversation, and we can keep going and really enrich every nugget that you're giving because you're a role model. Really, it's a empathy and faith and purpose and service and leadership and family and God it's and technology and you can have everything together and just live a full life. So thank you very much for opening your heart, for sharing with us, for allowing yourself to be so open and vulnerable. Um, and for those that are listening, just remember that is to allow yourself is a process of awareness, of letting go, of faith, of patience, and allow yourself. You deserve it by divine right. You deserve the best. So thank you very much, Richard. And is there anything else you would like to say? Who you're listening. If you want to reach Richard, you can go LinkedIn, Richard Quiñones, and he will be very glad to answer your questions and your comments. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, just one last thing, and whoever's listening to this, If you're nervous, that means you're on God's path. If you're fearful, that means the devil's at work. That's how I also make executive decisions when it comes to risk and business and things of that nature. If I'm nervous, then it could be very well God's path, but I might take a day or two to make a decision, but I'm nervous, right? But if I'm fearful, like, oh, something's not, and there's a level of fear there, I mean, that tells me something. So I just want to leave it there, and hopefully that touches somebody's heart and that helps them.
Yes, for sure. That's for sure. So thank you and see you next time.